2 years ago, everyone said Apple was losing the AI race. They were wrong, and this video explains exactly why. It was late November 2022. A man named Greg Brockman sent a tweet. Simple message. No launch event. No countdown. No one standing on a stage saying this changes everything. We just released ChatGPT. Try it. 1 million users in 5 days. 100 million users in 2 months. The fastest growing consumer application in human history. And somewhere in Cupertino, in the days that followed, the mood in a certain company's meeting rooms got very uncomfortable. That company was Apple. Not because Apple didn't understand AI, but because Apple suddenly realized something: the moat they'd spent 15 years building, the iPhone, the App Store, the user relationship, was being quietly eroded by a chat box. Think about your own habits for a second. When was the last time you seriously used Siri for something beyond setting a timer or asking about the weather? Most people pause, then say, asking about the weather, I guess. And then nothing. Meanwhile, the people around you, especially younger ones, have stopped Googling. They've stopped searching. They just opened ChatGPT. Here's why that terrifies Apple. If users start bypassing apps entirely, going straight to AI for information, for tasks, for decisions, then the App Store, which generates over $100 billion in ecosystem transactions every year, starts losing its reason to exist. This is why this year's WWDC matters so much. Apple put 6 cards on the table. Each one, on its own, looks like a normal product update. But put them together, and a very clear signal emerges. Apple isn't chasing the AI wave. They're waiting to redefine the game on their own terms. Let's go through all 6 cards, not from a specs angle, but from a business and strategy perspective. Picture a scene. An AI startup office in San Francisco. 3 in the afternoon. 15 engineers at their desks. You scan the room. And you notice something interesting. Almost everyone is on a MacBook. Not a high-end Windows workstation. Not a gaming laptop with an Nvidia GPU. MacBooks. This isn't brand loyalty. It's practical. Unix environment, unified memory architecture, exceptional battery life for writing code, running lightweight models, and debugging AI agents. Macs have quietly become the default development machine for a huge chunk of the AI developer community. This makes Apple both proud and nervous. Proud for obvious reasons. Nervous because this situation is under threat. Nvidia has been quietly moving into consumer-facing AI compute hardware. Qualcomm is partnering with others to crack open the laptop and mini PC market. The question that Apple loses sleep over: what happens if developers start finding that Windows plus Nvidia just works better for their AI workflow? Would they leave Mac? The honest answer is, yes, some would. And if the core developer workflow migrates to Nvidia's CUDA ecosystem, Apple loses something much more valuable than hardware sales. It loses the soil that the next generation of software grows in. So the M5 Mac Mini isn't just a computer update. It's a defensive move to hold the developer community inside the Apple ecosystem. But why Mac Mini, instead of the Mac Studio that was actually scheduled for an update? The answer is in the supply chain. After the generative AI explosion, the entire semiconductor industry started fighting over one material: HBM, high bandwidth memory. It's the key ingredient for running large language models, and supply is extremely constrained. Nvidia, Google, and Microsoft are all in the queue. TSMC's advanced packaging capacity is similarly locked up. The Mac Studio, which needs significantly more stacked memory, got pushed to later this year. That supply chain reality accidentally gave the M5 Mac Mini an unexpected opening. According to current leaks, the M5 chip features deeper GPU-level AI inference optimization, the goal being that developers can run local model inference and agent testing on a Mac, without needing an Nvidia compute card that costs thousands of dollars. Hold the developer. Hold the ecosystem. That's card 1. Let me put you in a situation most people have been in. You just finished a meeting. Your manager stops you on the way out and says, "Next week, business trip to New York, can you sort out the flights and hotel? You pull out your phone. You open the airline app. Search for flights. Switch to the hotel app. Search availability. Open your calendar to check what's already booked. Open Maps to confirm the office address. Open Notes to write everything down. 5 apps. 8 or 9 switches. 20 minutes to handle something that should take 3. Apple thinks this experience is broken. And they've decided to fix it. According to Gurman's reporting, iOS 20 is shaping up to be the most ambitious system overhaul in Apple's history. Not primarily because of the visual changes, though a liquid glass design aesthetic is reportedly coming, but because the fundamental interaction logic is being rebuilt. Siri 2.0 is being designed as a system-level AI orchestration layer. Here's what that means in practice. You say, business trip to New York next Wednesday, sort it out. Siri checks your calendar for conflicts. Pulls up flight options based on your preferences. Books the hotel. Drops everything into a notes summary. Sends you a confirmation to review. You never opened a single app. That's the experience Apple is building toward. Now here's the question a lot of people ask, isn't that just ChatGPT? No. And the difference is fundamental. ChatGPT is extraordinarily capable. But it cannot get inside your phone. It doesn't know what's in your calendar. It doesn't know your travel preferences. It cannot directly complete a booking in an app on your device. Siri lives inside the system. It has permissions that no third-party AI, not OpenAI, not Google, can replicate on an iPhone. That architectural advantage is real. And it's the moat Apple is betting on. According to leaks unconfirmed by Apple's Siri's new interface extends from the dynamic island, with a dedicated AI panel accessible via a downward swipe, maintaining conversation history and supporting multi-turn dialogue across sessions. Apple is also reportedly renaming visual intelligence to Siri Camera, making the camera a local visual AI input terminal. No photo needed, no cloud upload. Point it at anything. Instant local recognition. This isn't a feature refresh. It's a redefinition of what a phone is for. Another scenario. 11 p.m. You're about to go to bed. You want to do 3 things: check that the front door is locked, turn off the living room lights, and drop the thermostat 2 degrees. You pick up your phone. Open the security app. Check the camera. Back out. Open the smart home app. Find the lighting controls. Back out. Open the thermostat app. Adjust the temperature. 3 apps. 3 separate workflows. 5 minutes before bed. There's a word for an experience like that: exhausting. And it has nothing to do with smart. This is the problem Apple is targeting with Apple TV 4K and HomePod Mini 2. Most people's reaction to Apple TV update rumors is, does anyone still buy those? Fair. But this update has nothing to do with making Netflix scroll smoother. Apple's thesis is that every home needs a local AI compute node. Something always on, capable of understanding natural language, able to handle complex multi-step home commands locally, without routing every single request through a cloud server and back. A more powerful chip, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6 Apple TV becomes a candidate for that role. Combined with a rebuilt Siri, the goal is, you say I'm going to bed, and the system handles the door check, the lights, the thermostat, and tomorrow's alarm. All at once. Without you touching a thing. HomePod Mini 2 serves the same strategy. According to leaks, it upgrades to a second-generation ultra-wideband chip, improving seamless handoff with iPhone, while functioning as a distributed Siri voice node and endpoint in each room that listens, understands context, and connects to the broader home network. But the history here matters, and I want to be direct about it. Apple has been trying to win the smart home for nearly a decade. The results have been underwhelming. The original HomePod launched at $349, sold poorly, and was discontinued. HomePod Mini did better commercially, but Siri's limitations kept the smart home experience well below Amazon Echo's. So can this round be different? The hardware upgrade creates an opportunity. But whether that opportunity becomes reality depends entirely on one variable: whether Siri 2.0 actually works well in everyday use. We'll know later this year. Before we get to the final card, I want to run a quick thought experiment. You're walking down the street tomorrow morning. You pass a restaurant you've never noticed before. The window looks good. You want to know the reviews and what time it closes. What do you do right now? Pull out your phone. Unlock it. Open Maps. Search the restaurant name. Wait for results to load. 30 seconds, give or take. Apple thinks those 30 seconds are 30 seconds too many. According to Gurman, Apple's smart glasses project is confirmed, but due to supply chain complexity and manufacturing challenges, they won't launch until late 2027. They won't appear at this WWDC. But Apple needs to lay the software groundwork now, inside iOS 20, the visual AI interfaces, the eye tracking logic, the developer frameworks. Because hardware can wait. Developer ecosystems cannot. Based on recent Apple patent filings, and patents are not product commitments, Apple has developed a method of relocating eye tracking sensors into the temple arms of the glasses, allowing the front frame to remain as thin as a regular pair of sunglasses. If that works, here's what your morning walk looks like. You pass that restaurant. Your gaze stops on the sign. You quietly ask, "Is this place any good?" Siri knows what you're looking at through eye tracking. The answer comes through your earbuds before you've reached for your phone. Your hands stay in your pockets. Meta has already proven something important with Ray-Ban smart glasses. When a wearable is light enough, stylish enough, and priced right, people actually wear it. Apple has a real window in this category. But late 2027 means Meta gets 2+ more years to iterate and to shape user habits. That's exactly why iOS 20 and Siri 2.0 need to perform. They're holding the line until the glasses arrive. The final card. And in some ways, the most ambitious one. Let me describe something a lot of people have experienced. You just moved into a new place. You went with smart home devices. You've got an Nest thermostat, Ring doorbell, Philips Hue lights, a Samsung smart fridge, and Amazon Echo. Every single one can be smart controlled. How many apps does it take to manage all of them? 5? 6? 7? Here's the biggest lie in the smart home industry: every device is smart. The home itself isn't. According to Gurman, Apple is developing a dedicated home hub device running a new operating system called HomeOS, reportedly in a 7-inch tablet form factor that can magnetically wall mount or sit on a countertop with a speaker base. This isn't just another smart screen. HomeOS is Apple's attempt to build a unified operating system for the home, integrating security cameras, entertainment, device control, and AI into a single coherent interface, with one AI entry point for all of it. You walk into the kitchen. You ask, "Did anyone come by while I was out?" Local camera recognition answers you directly. No app. No cloud round trip. You're cooking. You say, "Dinner's almost ready." The lights in the dining room shift. The music gets softer. A notification goes out to everyone in the house. That's Apple's vision of a home operating system. But there's a hard commercial problem Apple needs to answer directly. Smart home fragmentation isn't a technology problem. It's an ecosystem problem. A typical household has appliances from a dozen different brands on different protocols with different apps. If HomeOS only works deeply with Apple-certified devices, the migration cost for most users is simply too high to justify. Apple needs to answer a very specific question: will HomeOS genuinely open up to third-party hardware? Right now, there's no clear answer. Let's step back and look at the full picture. The strategic logic across all 6 cards is coherent. Microsoft is building AI in the cloud. Nvidia owns cloud compute. Apple has chosen a third path: bring AI down to the terminal, into the home, and eventually onto your face. If this path works, Apple becomes the dominant terminal platform of the AI era, not the company with the most powerful model, but the company that owns the last mile between AI and the person using it. Given 2 decades of hardware manufacturing, chip design, and operating system control, that moat, once built, would be very hard to replicate. But I want to name 3 risks clearly, because they're not hypothetical. They're the specific things that could cause this whole strategy to fall apart. Risk 1: the cost paradox. Putting flagship chips into Apple TV and HomePod fundamentally changes the cost structure of products that historically competed at the $99 to $199 price point. Apple either raises prices, losing the mass market race against Amazon's $50 Echo, or compresses margins, which directly conflicts with the 40+% hardware margins Wall Street has priced in for years. There's no clean solution to this. Risk 2: Siri actually has to work. The entire strategy pivots on Siri 2.0 being genuinely capable. But Apple's large language model development, relative to OpenAI and Google, has real ground to make up. If Siri 2.0 launches and still stumbles on complex requests, if it still gives you a web search when you need it in action, users will give up again. And this time, the window to win them back may be much narrower. Risk 3: the time gap is real. Smart glasses pushed to late 2027 means Meta gets 2+ more years of iteration on Ray-Ban, 2+ more years of building user habits. Apple has a product vacuum in its most forward-looking hardware category. iOS 20 and Siri 2.0 need to hold that line. Whether they can, we'll start to see later this year. Let me bring this back to that night in November 2022. When Greg Brockman's tweet went out, most people in Silicon Valley didn't take it that seriously. They'd seen revolutionary AI before. It always faded. But this one didn't fade. 5 days, 1 million users. 2 months, 100 million. And Apple spent the following 3 years doing one thing: figuring out exactly what role it should play in a world where AI had become the new operating system. This year's WWDC is Apple's answer. Apple doesn't want to build the most powerful AI model. Apple wants to be the place where AI meets you. Your phone. Your home. Eventually, your glasses. Apple is betting that the most important AI won't live in a data center, it'll live in the devices you carry and the spaces you inhabit. Whether that bet is right, nobody knows yet. But Apple has never been the first mover. The iPod wasn't the first MP3 player. The iPhone wasn't the first smartphone. The App Store wasn't the first mobile marketplace. Apple's playbook has always been the same: let others build the market, then show up with a better experience and close the door behind them. This time, the competition isn't Nokia or BlackBerry. It's ChatGPT with 1 billion users. Microsoft with $3 trillion in market cap. Nvidia with a monopoly on the language of AI compute. Can Apple run its classic late but better playbook against opponents at this scale? The first real answer arrives later this year. We'll be watching.